Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we are taking a look at something brand new coming out of CJRB. And not only is this brand new, this is actually a first for CJRB. So let's take it in and see just what we have here. And I've obviously run it through the paces, so I've got some things to say about them. And what we're talking about here is the CJRB Breeze. Yes, this is a little pocket utility razor. Very interesting. You know, I've seen more and more of these things come up, and they definitely have their place in the EDC world because you can make a very strong case that these are just as useful as knives in some situations. Obviously, I think a knife has a little more versatility in terms of just a cutting standpoint, but there's also a lot of options here, and we'll take a look at them. Obviously, they all come with like a lanyard that can be tied on here, but I'm not going to do anything with the lanyard, so we'll leave that unpictured. But before I go any further into this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now let's take a look at some overall specs on these little EDC utility razor multi-tools right here. We have an overall length coming in at right around 4 inches, and that is with the blade open. When the blade is closed, we are looking at an overall length of 3.1 inches. We have a handle thickness of 264 thousandths. We have a handle material of either stainless steel, which is what this is, a coated steel. There's an aluminum option, and then we also have a titanium option right here. Now, for the locking mechanism, we have this sliding button, which is very easy to use. There's like a few different settings in terms of length here. This is the farthest one that, or the farthest one out, and then we have another notch in here. You'll hear it pop. There's that right there, and then all the way in. We have a user of obviously left or right. You can put it in either pocket. This thing's, for the most part, completely ambidextrous. Now, I don't know if you can reverse the blade to carry it left or right. Obviously, it's very easy to open this left or right, but you know, it's kind of whatever. Obviously, if you're a lefty, the way this comes to you, you'll have to open it and then move it over to your right hand to cut with. So I'm actually not 100% sure if the blade can be reversed in there to favor lefties the whole way. But yeah, take that for what it's worth. We have a weight coming in at 2.65 ounces for the steel version and a weight of 1.66 ounces for the titanium version. And then the weight for the aluminum version is also going to be in the link below. There's a link taking you over to all this, which we'll talk more about in just a second. Prices. There are a lot of different prices because this is a Kickstarter project. And the super early birds will obviously pay the least amount. And then after a certain date, you'll pay a little more, but you're still considered an early bird. So you'll pay less than what retail price will be. Again, all the information is in the link, but we're looking at a price range of $49 to $105. Now, again, keep in mind, that really ranges from model to type to when you buy it. So again, all the true details of the prices and when they're going to be how much is in the link below. And the order fulfillment is supposed to take place in April. So not very far away. I mean, you know, you can't really, like, 2 months at the most. So yeah, not too bad there. Let's take a look at some size comparisons. We'll try one with the razor closed like this, and then, you know what, we're just going to do it with the razor closed because it's basically when you have the blade out, that basically adds an inch to the length. It's about 1 inch of sharpened razor blade there. Obviously, the razor blade itself is like 2.36 or 2 point something inches in length, but you're only looking at about 1 inch of usable cutting length. But then, of course, you can always reverse it, switch it around to where you'll have the other edge to use after the one end dulls out. So that's nice. Okay, let's use this one. They're both the exact same, but we only need one on the table for size comparisons and see how it compares to some. We'll just bring some closed knives out here, and we'll probably bring the two most popular current CJRB fifth pocket knives for comparison. This is the Mini Pyrite, and that is the CJRB Mica. And as you can see, pretty much the exact same. It's pretty much the exact same length as any fifth pocket knife closed for the most part. I mean, give or take, you know, a quarter of an inch or an eighth of an inch or something. But yeah, we got the Mylea, we got the Baby Banter, and then of course the Mini Pyrite and the Mica. There's your size right there. I think that's the best size comparison you can get for this thing. So it's very pocket friendly, very pocket friendly. And for the weight, you know, even if you get the stainless steel version that's 2.65 ounces, I mean, yeah, that's fine. That's not an issue whatsoever. I mean, anything under 3 ounces, I don't really care how big it is, isn't really going to cause any issues for me, especially at this thinness. I mean, this is a very thin handle, so yeah, it's going to feel just fine. It'll probably feel like a cigar cutter in your pocket if you're into cigars. But yeah, so what we have here is the utility razor blade. Now, there's a few other features to it that are definitely worth pointing out here because this is technically a multi-tool. I mean, for all argument's sake, this is a multi-tool. I would also play devil's advocate and say, you know, all the tools aren't quite as valuable as others, but let's go over them. Obviously, we have the blade. Very clear we have the blade there. We'll stop talking about the blade for a second. We have a bottle opener down here, right here. There is a bottle opener for your favorite bottled beverages. That's very nice. That always comes in handy. I mean, how many times has anyone like, hey, you got a bottle opener? I mean, yeah, everyone can use a bottle opener. Most people can use a bottle opener, I should say. We have a bit driver right over here. Two different sizes. The smaller size right here is M6, and the bigger size out here is M8. So obviously 6 millimeters, 8 millimeters. If you're in the States, you may not always use millimeters. You might use like, you know, inches. The M6 is very, very close to a 1/4 inch. So technically, obviously, a 1/4 inch is 0.25 inches. 6 millimeters is technically 0.236 inches. So this would probably work on a 1/4 inch head. You would have to be careful because that size difference, you could maybe potentially strip it, but it would probably work pretty well in most cases for a 1/4 inch head drive. And then also you have a measuring tool, and this is where I mean, okay, so this is an 1.5 inch measuring tool. This right here is 1 inch, and then this is the other 1/2 inch right here. So I don't know how much you really use that. I think that might be a stretch in terms of an actual tool on the knife, but it's a resource. We'll call it a resource. 1.5 inches of measuring notches. But I think the most important thing on this knife is obviously the razor. And there are times when a razor is like my preferred choice when it comes to EDC tasks. Sometimes maybe you're cutting into something really gooey and nasty, or something that you would just rather prefer not get your primary blade into. These are great for that. They are great because they stay sharp forever. You have to like really, really mess them up to make them dull. So yeah, the sharpened edge holds very well. It's a great tool to just really beat on hard. Now, when it comes to ergos, the ergos are actually pretty good. It depends how you're going to use this to cut. Like this is actually really good and secure right here. I don't know how this could really slip out of your hand. So you could really like do some harder cutting with that. But then you get into other positions like this where you can't really push real hard because you're pushing on the blade. You can go back here. But again, when you're working with a razor, you need to be very careful as you would with any knife because razors will cut you and you won't even know it. Ridiculously sharp. So always be careful there. But that's pretty much what we got here. It's a pocket utility razor. What do you guys think about these? I'll be honest, I get a lot more excited about a pocket knife or even a good flashlight than a utility razor. Now, granted, I'd be lying if I said I couldn't, you know, use these on a pretty regular basis. These would actually come in very handy, and I have been carrying these a lot. And I do really like them. The action is pretty nice. You have those different settings there. And you can also, back here, you can lock it by just twisting this. Obviously, you can lock it like that. Or you can tighten it all the way down and just lock it down for good. So then there's no way whatsoever of this opening in your pocket. But I'll tell you guys right now, I would leave it just like this. I would carry it unlocked in my pocket, and I would have absolutely zero concern of it opening in my pocket. It's not going to happen. I really don't think it's going to happen. Anything's possible. I get it, but I would not worry about it whatsoever. I think it's a pretty safe tool. Very nice, minimal, good-looking tool with a little extra versatility in the bottle opener and head driver there. And yeah, I mean, again, when you're talking the most affordable option at $49. Now, keep in mind the $49 is the super super early bird special. So if you want to pay 49 bucks, you got to click on the link and act fast because that's not going to be around for very long. But yeah, I can dig this for 49 bucks. Yeah, I think that would come in very handy, and it's a nice little tool. It's a good looking tool, and yeah, that's it. That is the CJRB Breeze, guys. Let me know what you think of these two pocket tools. Let me know if you carry a utility knife, a smaller utility knife like this. I'm assuming a lot of us don't just walk around with regular full-size utility razors in our pocket unless you are in the trades and, really need it. But what do you think of this? Is there room for something like this in your pocket? That's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.